Let's take a closer look at the chances of reaching a deal to raise the debt ceiling. And for that, let's turn to Republican Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. He's in Capitol Hill. Senator, good morning to you.
Morning, Russ. Thanks for having me on.
Do you think it was a good idea for Speaker Boehner to walk out of the discussions yesterday?
Well, first of all, I think we need to understand really who put us in this position. And it really was the president and the Democrats in the Senate. They've never presented a plan. I mean, the president did present a budget, but it was so unserious. It would have added $12 trillion to our nation's debt over 10 years. It lost 0 to 97 in the Senate. The Senate hasn't passed a budget in over 2 years. So my problem is we hear all these numbers. We hear that everything's on the table. But as a United States Senator, I haven't seen any of the detail. All I hear is some vague numbers and some assurances that this president's serious. But a serious individual would have put a serious budget on the table, and he certainly would have gotten engaged, sooner or further in advance than just a couple weeks ago.
Well, Senator, having said that, let me ask you again: do you think it was a good idea for Speaker Boehner to walk out of the meeting 10 days before this deadline?
The House passed a bill on Tuesday, cut, cap, and balance, which I believe is really the solution. Unfortunately, the Senate wouldn't even proceed to a debate on that. And I think that is the real solution. I think the American people support that as well. A recent poll showed that 66% like the concept of cutting spending now, capping the growth in spending over 10 years, and then increasing the debt ceiling in exchange for passing a constitutional amendment, which, by the way, the American people support by a margin of 74%.
Well, Senator,
so that is a solution. It should be debated. So if we've got to do some short-term deal so we have time to actually debate that concept, I'd welcome that.
Okay, so didn't really answer my question, but let me move on. A CBS poll shows that 71% of Americans disapprove of how Republicans are handling negotiations. From a political standpoint, if no deal is made on this, who has the most to lose?
Well, certainly I'm not happy with these secret negotiations. And I think every time we've entered those with somebody who's not serious, and I don't believe the president has been negotiating in good faith, we've given him credibility where he has no credibility. So actually, from my standpoint right now, I'm kind of glad they stepped away from those talks and actually asked the president, now put your plan on the table. Let me see it in writing before we give him any further credibility.
Are you confident, Senator, that a deal will get done in the next 10 days?
No. That's why, back in May, I sent a letter to President Obama saying it was very irresponsible, first of all, to be scaring the markets the way he has, and to just assume he's going to have an increase in the debt ceiling, and it's irresponsible not to have a backup plan. He has no backup plan. That's not the way you do it in business. You certainly, if your business was in trouble, you wouldn't be running to your banks and scaring them the way this president has done. So no, I think the president has totally mishandled this. I don't think he's been operating or negotiating in good faith. And so now it's probably going to be up to the Speaker and leaders in the Senate to try and hammer out something short term so that we can actually start working toward a real solution.
And Senator,
because that's really what the markets are looking for, a real solution, not some short-term deal.
Very quickly, Senator, raising taxes, a deal breaker for you?
Listen, we have to grow our economy. So I don't want to enact any policies or any laws that would harm economic growth. I'm all for structural tax reform. I'm all for closing specific special deal types of loopholes, but not generally increased tax rates. That would harm our economy. We got to get our economy to grow so we can start creating jobs. That's really that's the number one component for a solution.
Okay. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, we thank you so much for joining us this morning. You take care.
Thanks for having me on.